The Industrial Revolution, a time of unparalleled change. It transformed societies, economies, and daily life in ways that still resonate today. But how exactly did it shape the world we live in? Today, we dive deep into the far-reaching impact of the Industrial Revolution on society. The Industrial Revolution began in the late 18th century in Great Britain and spread throughout Europe and North America. Before this, economies were based on agriculture, small-scale manufacturing, and craftsmanship. But with the advent of machines and factories, everything changed. The transition from hand production methods to machines dramatically altered how goods were produced and consumed. Let's explore how these transformations impacted society, from population growth to urbanization, labor conditions, and social structures. One of the most noticeable effects of the Industrial Revolution was the dramatic population increase. Improvements in agriculture, such as crop rotation and selective breeding, provided a more stable food supply, which led to lower death rates and healthier populations. This rapid population growth coincided with the expansion of cities. Urbanization became a defining feature of this era. People moved from rural areas to cities in search of jobs created by the rise of factories. London, Manchester, and other industrial hubs swelled with new residents. The bustling streets and crowded tenements became symbols of a new age, an age where people traded the open fields for the smoke-filled skies of the city. But the allure of jobs came at a price. The living conditions in these cities were often dire, with overcrowded housing, poor sanitation, and rampant disease. Factories became the cornerstone of industrial society. Powered by steam engines and coal, they mass-produced textiles, iron, and other essential goods at a scale never before imagined. But inside these factories, the reality for workers was grueling. Workers, including men, women, and even children, toiled long hours, often 12 to 16 hours a day, in dangerous conditions. The noise of machinery was deafening, the air thick with dust and fumes, and accidents were common. In many cases, workers had little to no rights, with owners exploiting their labor for maximum profit. Despite these harsh conditions, industrialization led to the formation of the working class, a group that would eventually demand better pay, shorter working hours, and safer workplaces. These demands would lay the groundwork for labor unions and worker protections in the years to come. At the heart of the Industrial Revolution was innovation. The steam engine, the spinning jenny, and the power loom revolutionized production processes. These technologies increased efficiency, lowered the cost of goods, and created new industries. For the first time, people could afford products that had once been luxuries. The economy experienced rapid growth. Factories boosted production, and global trade expanded, creating wealth for factory owners and entrepreneurs. However, this wealth was not distributed equally. While industrialists amassed fortunes, many workers remained trapped in poverty. The Industrial Revolution also spurred advances in transportation. Railways and steamships made it easier to move goods and people over long distances. Cities became connected in ways they had never been before, paving the way for global commerce and cultural exchange. The Industrial Revolution didn't just reshape the economy, it reshaped society. A new social structure began to emerge. At the top were the wealthy industrialists, factory owners and bankers, the new upper class. Below them was a growing middle class of managers, engineers, and professionals who benefited from the new economy. But at the bottom was the working class, whose lives were marked by hardship and instability. The stark contrast between these groups created a growing divide. The factory workers lived in cramped, unsanitary conditions, while the wealthy lived in large homes far from the factories. Yet, as time went on, workers began to organize. Labor movements emerged, calling for fair wages, better working conditions, and the right to vote. This struggle for rights and representation would play a significant role in shaping modern democratic societies. The Industrial Revolution didn't just change how people worked, it changed how they lived. With the introduction of mass production, everyday items such as clothing, household goods, and tools became more accessible to the average person. This shift allowed for a higher standard of living for many, although not all benefited equally. The nature of family life also shifted. In many households, women and children worked alongside men in factories. This created a new dynamic in which traditional roles were upended, and families became more reliant on wages from multiple members. Culturally, the Industrial Revolution sparked debates about progress, capitalism, and social justice. Intellectuals, artists, and writers such as Charles Dickens critiqued the dehumanizing aspects of industrialization and shed light on the plight of the working class. The legacy of the Industrial Revolution can still be felt today. It laid the foundation for the modern world, introducing technological advancements and economic systems that continue to shape our lives. The rise of industrial capitalism brought about both unprecedented wealth and deep social inequalities, issues that remain at the forefront of global discussions today. The labor movements born out of the Industrial Revolution gave rise to workers' rights, inspiring future generations to fight for justice and fairness. And while the cities and factories of today may look different from those of the 19th century, the impact of that transformative era is undeniable. The Industrial Revolution was a time of extraordinary change. It brought about remarkable technological and economic advancements, but it also introduced social challenges that took decades to address. As we look around our modern world, with its towering cities, advanced technologies, and global economy, it's clear that the roots of our society can be traced back to the smoke-filled factories and bustling streets of the Industrial Revolution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Be sure to subscribe to Wonderwave for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. And